Alex Pereira will be making his return headlining UFC 307 in Salt Lake City in October. And who will he be facing? None other than Khalil Roundtree. I was very sure that this was some fake news. Today it's very hard to tell what is real on Twitter, on Instagram. No joke. The next post I saw after I was looking at this one and trying to see if it was real. And the next thing I saw was that Tony El Kakui Ferguson finally gets his long-awaited title shot against Islam Makhachev. Again, that seemed as real to me as the Alex Pereira fight announcement. Unfortunately, I found out that that one was not real. But what is very real is that Salt Lake City finally has a main event. They had already announced some women's fights on that card. So it seemed like the Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena fight was going to headline it. But no thanks. We got a banger on our hands. Alex Pereira. So speaking of that 308 announcement, as soon as they said that Ankalaev had a fight booked versus Alexander Rakic, I walked right down to the studio, put on my hard hat, and I made a video of a prediction I was very confident in. Unfortunately, I was yet to release the footage, but now we can wipe it off the face of the earth. What I said was this Ankalaev announcement means one thing, that Alex Pereira will be moving up to heavyweight to probably face Tom Aspinall either in November. I thought it would be the co-headliner of the John Jones-Stipe dumpster fire, or at the end of the year in December, since it seems that card still needs a headliner. I was wrong. There's a first for everything. My haters can rejoice. But I don't think anyone saw this coming. Khalil Roundtree is one of my favorite fighters. For the four of you who religiously follow this channel, you obviously knew that. I've been a fan of his for a long time, since I saw him at UFC 236 in 2019 in Atlanta. One of the biggest ass kickings of all time that he gave to Eric Anders. Eric Anders, another friend of the program. So I was very conflicted in that one. But, the Muay Thai, the Bangkok Ready Roundtree, I love this guy. How could you not love this guy? You watch any of his interviews, you hear about his backstory, as inspiring of a guy as we have in the UFC right now, right? He used to be 300 plus pounds. He was obese. He was depressed. He had a lot of negative things going on in his life. And now he's fighting for the UFC light heavyweight strap. Unfortunately, he's going to get sparked out. So after the initial, shock of this announcement wore off, is Pereira saving the UFC again? Is this actually happening for a third time in a calendar year? In like half of a year? This is just getting insane at this point, what this guy is doing. Since they already had announced 308, it seemed like maybe the UFC was scrambling to get a main event for UFC 307, like they were at UFC 300, like they were when Conor McGregor pulled out of UFC 303. And who comes to save the company once again? Alex Pereira, maybe the most exciting fighter in the company. I am certainly running out of words to describe what this guy is doing. But yeah, I didn't see this coming. He said, I want to take some time off. And by that, he meant return in November, December. So again, that's why I really liked the prediction of maybe he would fight Aspinall. Aspinall, we know, wants to be active. We know he just fought and didn't take any damage. And we know that John Jones is an absolute bum, and he will not be coming anywhere close to either of those guys. So I thought, why not? Why not throw the two baddest men in the company in the octagon and see what happens? Maybe on the same card as John Jones versus Stipe. But I was wrong, so that is not happening. Instead, he's fighting the number 8 contender in the division, a guy who has one top 10 win. He's on a 5-fight win streak. He's got 4 knockouts. The only fight that wasn't a knockout was when he definitely lost to Dustin Jacoby. But we don't talk about that in this fight, in this house, because this is a pro Khalil Roundtree house. If beating Anthony Smith got you title shots, then we'd run out of title shots to give, right? So I didn't know that beating Anthony Smith, that knocking him out, got you a title shot, but here we are. It's a fun matchup. The lengths that we're going to avoid giving this guy a wrestler is getting a little bit ridiculous now. But as a guy wearing this shirt, you're not going to hear a complaint out of me. So we'll have a very fun, the first leg kick thrown, whichever man is daring enough to lead the dance. The first leg kick that gets thrown, the first check, the first shin-on-shin contact in this one might break the space-time continuum. So, yeah, a little bit, I was shocked. I thought that Pereira had more of a length advantage because I know Khalil is pretty short for the light heavyweight division. And obviously Pereira is like one of the biggest humans on the planet. I was a little surprised, pretty close in reach. I mean, Khalil's got that like weird body where his hands come all the way down to like his knees. But yeah, I thought Pereira had a slightly larger reach advantage. Obviously Pereira will be the bigger guy. Obviously Roundtree is freaking carved from stone, dude. I mean, I could stare at this guy's abs all day. And maybe I'll do that. But yeah, very confused. I'm so happy for Khalil, man. It's been very cool seeing this guy's career, following him outside the cage, and just how good of a dude this guy is. So seeing the recent success he's had, this run he's been on, has been awesome. You know, this guy was this guy was a 500 fighter, man, and seeing him climb the ranks and get a title shot has just been unbelievable, man. So I'm so happy for this guy. Hopefully we can get you on the pod one of these days, and I'm pulling for you, but I'm not sure we're ready for Pereira. Not the most favorable matchup for the guy. Like I said, we kind of saw him get outstruck by Dustin Jacoby, who, I mean, is an unbelievable kickboxer in his own right. So I'm happy we're seeing Pereira back out there. I can't help but think that we should give this guy a chance at triple champ status. How many times is that even going to be like remotely possible to have a guy do that? I think the only weight classes you could do it in are 85, 205, and heavyweight, right? Because I remember Cejudo talking about moving up to 45 to fight Volk. I mean, a moment of silence for, what would have happened if they made that fight, right? So like, these weight class, jumping up one class, I mean, that's why there have only been like 10 double champs in the history of the organization. It's just so hard to do. These guys are you'll always see someone who will be fighting at 55, and then he moves up to 70, and he's like significantly smaller than he was massive at 155, and then you move up to 170, and it's like you're just another guy. So that's why it happens so infrequently. I think the only weight class that you can do it in is those three, right? 185, 205, and heavyweight. And we see Pereira get two of them. So why not give him a shot to go triple champ status? Unfortunately, I don't think he beats Tom Aspinall. I think I would probably beat John Jones at this point, dude. Anyone pretending, I'll say this in every episode, I somehow find a way to work it in, but anyone pretending that they have any idea what John Jones looks like at 400 pounds in 2024, you're just lying to yourself, right? Maybe he's the best fighter of all time, but you have no idea what he looks like today. You could see him quarter squat 405 pounds in a dark basement. Who knows what else goes on in that dark basement, but yeah, I don't think that doesn't show me that he could beat anyone in a fight. So for all I know, Pereira's going to punt his head off 2 minutes into the fight. So obviously they're not going to give him that fight. But I would have loved to see Pereira move up. And let's be honest with ourselves. I've been pondering this ever since they announced the Ankalaev fight, because Ankalaev has been next. Again, we hate to admit it. I'm not, I don't hate Ankalaev, but you understand the business and, the way they treat guys like that. So he finally learned how to use the mic a little bit, and he's been calling for Pereira recently. He does, as everyone calls for Pereira, right? I don't even need to take you down. I'm going to knock you out on the feet. Yeah. Get ready to learn Alexander Rakic, buddy, because you're not even going to get the chance. He also kept saying, I'm not fighting till Abu Dhabi. We're going to go fight in Abu Dhabi. Why the fuck would Pereira go defend his belt in Abu Dhabi? You don't call the shots. That's not how it works. So I don't know if that was half punishment or what. I don't know. I had never heard Ankalaev say a word until pretty much these last couple months. He's been saying all this stuff about Pereira. And yeah, I don't know if that had anything to do with him not getting the fight. But, even he was probably next after 300. After Yuri beat Rakic, a lot of people were like, make the rematch, just because they're, two of the biggest fan favorites in the sport, two of the biggest aura maxers you could possibly have. We were like, that would be a fun fight. It was a fun fight. It was a fun buildup the first time. Let's have it happen again. And obviously it did, but it was in weird circumstances. It was a couple week replacement fight for the biggest return in combat sports history. So it wasn't like, who knows if that was the fight they were already trying to make at a different point. But they have it in June. And then it was like, all right, we gave Yuri another shot, but it's probably time to give Ankalaev a shot. So I haven't really even been seeing that many people talk about it since the Ankalaev announcement. I've been very, again, that was the first thing I thought of. I love Alexander Rakic. He's one of my favorite fighters. So I was excited at him getting a big time fight like that. But what that announcement really had me thinking was, what is next for Alex Pereira? Now we know Khalil Roundtree. I'm excited for this one. I know I earlier said that Roundtree's getting sparked out. Khalil, I know you're listening. We're going to have to edit that one out for you because I'm very excited that this guy is getting the opportunity. I just don't really understand it at all. I don't think anyone understands it. I'm still not exactly sure that it's real. Oh, how about I kind of forgot to say this. So Khalil Roundtree was booked against Jamal Hill in that same fight, on that same card. The McGregor card was supposed to be the co-headliner. Jamal Hill, the former champ, the number one contender, guy who just lost his belt. So even that, people were like, this is a massive step up for Khalil Roundtree, a guy ranked number 8, a guy who has one top 10 win. Go look up this guy's resume and see who he's beat. I love the guy, like I said, but not exactly a who's who of contenders. I know light heavyweight stinks, but still, maybe beat I don't even know, maybe throw in a Johnny Walker. Oh, actually, as I'm saying that, I remember Johnny Walker knocking him out. So again, I'll edit that part out as well. But yeah, so this guy is booked to fight for a potential number 1 contender fight against Jamal Hill, which, people like the guy. So I don't think anyone was saying he doesn't deserve it, but just a massive step up in competition, kind of jumping the line a little bit. He gets suspended for steroids. He gets suspended for a performance enhancing drug. Again, I haven't really read into it, so I'm not calling him out for it. And then, so you pull out of the fight, and then all of a sudden you get a title shot. This is kind of absurd to me. Again, I'm just going to move right along, but I'm happy for Roundtree for getting this shot. Does he deserve it? Let's be honest here. Probably not, but I am excited for this one.